Welcome everyone, it's Miss Gisa, and today I have my fabulous co-stars, Miss Kelly from the Liquid Medium and Adele, my daughter. And I'm wondering, Kelly, what adventure are we going on today?
Well, welcome back, kitchen connoisseurs and flavor explorers. Today I'm excited to talk about empomia batatas, also known as sweet potatoes. The sweet potato is a root vegetable that we use for yummy, savory, and sweet recipes. Many different cultures depend on sweet potatoes for nourishment, and it is the second most important veggie worldwide. I love when food creates connections and community. And when I watched Miss Gisa's read-along, Pies to Nowhere, I really wanted to make a pie in honor of the main character, Georgia Gilmore. How about we learn how to make some sweet potato pies to share with our favorite friends? Sweet potatoes are great veggies to use in the wintertime and are traditionally used for many holiday recipes. Miss Gisa, can you tell us a little bit about the book that inspired this episode?
I sure can, Kelly. It's one of my favorites. It's called Pies from Nowhere, and it's the story of Georgia Gilmore, who's really a hidden figure in history. I'm gonna venture to say most of us did not learn about her in school. And Georgia used her passion and her gifts of baking and cooking to help in the civil rights movement. And I'm not going to say much more because I want you to hear the story. She has a really interesting life, and she was really instrumental in helping out with the civil rights movement.
Thank you for that recap, Miss Gisa. I have to say, you were the first person to teach me about her, and I'm just so grateful to have learned that. I really encourage all of you to watch Miss Gisa's read-along about Georgia Gilmore and see what inspires you from that book. Adele, have you ever participated in a bake sale for charity or made special treats to share with your friends?
Once last winter I made cookies for my family and neighbors.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. It's such a great time of year to make cookies. So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and we have lots of good options for sweet potato pie. And two of my favorite businesses to get delicious sweet potato treats are Sweet Potato Sensations and Sister Pie. So if you ever get to visit Detroit, please pay them a visit. I have a little map here, and I'd like to show you where we're here today is in Southern California. And I came all the way from the Great Lakes here in Michigan. And since I can't visit Michigan for the holidays, I'm fortunate to have a recipe book from Sister Pie. And today's recipes allow me to share some of my hometown favorites with you all. Sister Pie is a lovely bakery that uses local seasonal ingredients and strives to support their employees, environment, and economy. While the oven's heating up, let's talk about the cool chemistry that happens to sweet potatoes as they cook. Sweet potatoes earn their name by turning sweeter as they cook. Any clues why this might happen?
We don't know. Kelly, can you tell us?
Well, I have a feeling science is involved, and we can explain this marvelous reaction scientifically. Sweet potatoes contain starch, and when they're heated or cooked, an enzyme in the potatoes causes the starch to convert to maltose. Maltose is a type of sugar that has two glucose molecules, which is slightly less sweet than regular sugar. Now, who can tell me what a molecule is?
A molecule is a group of two or more atoms that are bonded together.
Adele, thank you for explaining this. Now I know that it's a chemical reaction that occurs to make my sweet potatoes so tasty. So now let's head to the kitchen. I made the pie crust ahead of time, and this is a very hands-on recipe. So I have a feeling y'all know what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna wash my hands. So I know I'm always talking about how important it is to wash your hands, but I think I might have gotten a little too much soap this time. So now that we talked about the chemical reaction that occurs when we cook sweet potatoes, I have a bowl of sweet potatoes that I've peeled and diced. And I'm gonna just try one of these small pieces really quick to see what it tastes like before they get cooked. So it tastes very starchy and it's not sweet at all. So let's get these ready to roast. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and you can just kind of eyeball this. That looks good. And our recipe calls for half a teaspoon of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. So I just have some regular sea salt here. I'm gonna sprinkle this in. And next we have some cumin. So then what you wanna do is just mix this all up. Make sure all of the olive oil and the seasoning gets distributed evenly. So this looks like it's nice and coated with the olive oil and the seasoning. So what I'm going to do now is just pour these onto a baking sheet. Spread them out. And these are going to go in the oven at 400 degrees for roughly about 20 minutes. And I'll mix them up a little bit in between to make sure that they're not sticking to the pan and they're cooking evenly. For our dessert pie, I'm going to actually roast these beautiful, huge sweet potatoes whole. And what we'll do is we'll use the nice soft inside for our dessert filling. So what I like to do when I roast whole potatoes is I like to very carefully take a sharp knife and just poke some little holes for ventilation along the sweet potato. You want to be very careful when you're doing this, but this kind of allows the air to escape and them to cook evenly. Okay, we're ready to get baking. So I'll slide these in here. I wrapped our whole sweet potatoes in foil so they'll cook a little bit quicker. I'm going to just put those underneath. And what I'll do is I'll check back about every 20 minutes or so. Like I said, they can take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. You just want to check in periodically. So we'll meet back here in a few. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a new day. After we started our roasting of the sweet potatoes last night, there was a little bit of an accident and I actually burned the potatoes and burned the pie crust. So I'm grateful for it to be a new day and a new opportunity to start over. I know Ms. Gisa talks a lot about making mistakes and how it helps your brain grow. It also really helps you to master something you're practicing at. So today's recipes, we're using recipes from the Sister Pie cookbook from my hometown in Detroit. It's a beautiful book. It makes a wonderful gift. I really love all of the recipes in here. It's more than just pie. There's cookies, scones, all sorts of beautiful treats. So we're doing the sweet potato coconut pie. And I have all of our ingredients set out here. Before we get to mixing the ingredients, I want to show you the foil that we used for roasting the sweet potatoes. And you can see all of this here, it's almost like a caramelized sweet syrup, which is that chemical reaction that happens when we cook sweet potatoes. So now let's mix up our ingredients. I have our peeled and roasted sweet potatoes. All right, so I am gonna go down the list of my ingredients and mix in the fillings. We'll start with the butter. We have our butter, and now lots of brown sugar. And I have some beautiful cardamom from a local shop here in Culver City called Gratitude Market. And they donate some of their proceeds to help fund a really lovely food bank to help out people in need. And some kosher salt. 4 tablespoons of fine ground cornmeal. And we some full fat coconut milk, half a cup of heavy cream, and last but not least, I have a dozen egg yolks. Go ahead and pause. Now we're ready for the fun part. We're gonna mix all this up nice and smooth. I like to start off slow so our liquidy ingredients don't splatter. Well, this looks like a really nice consistency. I think it's time to pour our filling into the pie crust. One of my favorite parts of baking is licking the empty bowl and the mixers. You can even share this with your friends that's helping you out in the kitchen. Okay, we have our pre-made pie crust and we are ready to put our filling in. So you want your filling to come up to the crimps in the crust. Beautiful. I'm going to take this over to the oven now, and we'll cook this pie for about 40 to 50 minutes. We'll jiggle it periodically, and then once that center is set and the edges are poofed up, it's ready to go. Okay, so we have our dessert pie baking, and while we're doing that, let's assemble our individual savory hand pies. Today we're gonna make sweet potato, black bean, and feta hand pies. I've already chopped up our green onion. We have our roasted and diced sweet potato. I have some beautiful feta cheese from Stepladder Creamery, a local creamery here in Cambria, California. Their cheese is fantastic and they're super nice. And then I have some fresh black beans that I got at the farmer's market that I'm really excited to try in this recipe. So we're gonna mix everything together. You can add a little extra salt and pepper after you mix everything to your preference. And so what I'll do is I'm going to first incorporate all of these ingredients by stirring them, and then I'm going to give them a little mash so they stay fully formed in the hand pie. Okay, so this looks nice and mixed. I'm just going to just gently mash it all together. This will help the flavors to meld and the hand pies to stay formed when you bite into them. So we'll give it one more little smash and then we'll be ready to fill our individual pies. Look at this beautiful sweet potato pie. You can see that the edges are poofed and the center is not that jiggly. So we are ready to take this out of the oven. So I've transferred the pie over to our cooling rack, and I sprinkled some lovely toasted coconut as a garnish. I also have some whipped cream that we're going to dollop on this later. So now that our pies are fresh out of the oven, which would you like to start with today, sweet or savory?
The sweet one, of course. Kelly, this needs to be entered into a contest. This is gorgeous. Look at this crust. I mean, this crust is beautiful and it's just perfection.
Thank you. It was a little intimidating because the women at Sister Pie, they do such a fabulous job, but I'm telling you, get this book. If you are into learning how to do pie crust, it's so detailed and she really makes it user-friendly.
That's great. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out. Thanks for that resource.
I'm gonna grab the whipped cream because I know y'all are gonna want to dollop on those pies and slice your pie and get ready. This whipped cream is dollop is in honor of Sister Pie. One of my favorite memories from there is I would order a coffee and they would pull out their bowl of whipped cream from behind the counter and dollop it right into your cup. So there you go, Adele.
Thanks.
Homemade whipped
Yum.
cream is my favorite.
Nice big dollop.
Thank you.
This is really good.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
Kelly, I know I say this every time and you probably don't believe me, but this is the best sweet potato pie I've ever had.
That makes
It's my
me
first sweet potato pie.
It's her first, and she is actually not a fan of sweet potatoes. But look at how fast she's eating that up.
That makes me really happy because sweet potatoes provide us with so many wonderful nutrients. It's wonderful for our gut health. It has tons of fiber. It's good for your brain and your eyes with all of the vitamins and minerals. And I know that, a lot of people really love pumpkin pie, but sweet potato is so wonderful and so accessible. It's nice to give it a chance.
I'm gonna have to get that recipe book. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't even get me started on the cookies that they make. They're phenomenal.
Are those also in the book?
Yeah, she's really generous with all of her recipes. And, before the pandemic, they would host classes and they would do a lot of different beautiful things for the community. So with the savory pies, what I like to do is make a little meal out of it, and I will serve them with a side of just a really simple salad. And I actually used some lemon from my backyard and olive oil from our local farmer's market. So there's a little bit of watermelon radish to add some color to your plate. And that is actually, it's a hand pie, so you can even just eat it on the go if you want. And that has sweet potato, black bean, and some really lovely feta cheese from a local bakery.
I can't wait.
The watermelon radish are really good. I just am tasting one right now.
Have you had a watermelon radish before?
I've only had the round, the red regular radishes, I guess.
So let me give you some pumpkin seeds to sprinkle on your salad.
Thank you.
Welcome.
My turn.
Adele, yes.
Thank you.
So what's really special about pumpkin seeds is they help us with our immune system. And with it being winter, we really want a nice, healthy, strong immune system. So feel free to snack on pumpkin seeds. They're gonna just help you out to be healthy and strong.
Is this also from that book, Sister Pie?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
This is really good. It's like a savory scone with stuff inside.
What do you think of the filling?
The filling is so tasty, and the outside is so flaky and light.
It's really
I
good.
love it.
Miss Gisa, do you know how our brains tell the difference between a sweet and savory flavor?
Well, on our tongues, we have something called taste buds. And there are different taste buds on your tongue in different areas that detect the different flavors. And those send a message to your brain.
So what are we gonna make next video?
Well, that's to be announced. I have to get caught up on some of Miss Gisa's read-alongs. And I love watching her videos because it gives me so much inspiration. And I'm going to look for some clues and I will let you know.
Well, we will look forward to our next adventure together. And until then, happy holidays. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to see more of our programming.
Thank you so much for having me on your channel. Please, please share this with your friends and family and loved ones. We can really all gather together and have a nice time virtually this holiday. So happy holidays, and I can't wait to see you soon.
And Kelly, thank you for joining us again and for making the most delicious food. It is always such a treat for us.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.